I am.
Are you sure?
A little.
Welcome to the Aftermath. And I am your host, Sandra Suares, Director of Justice Place Organization, founder of Aftermath and Healing Roots. And we are here today with the lovely Alexis Banda. And we are in the same location. So bear with us on this special podcast day with Alexis. And if at any point in time you feel that you need a break or that you need to stop, then just let us know. Today's topic is very sensitive, so trigger warning. I do have to say trigger warning because we're going to be speaking about divorce. We're going to be speaking about healing. We're going to be speaking about separation, and all of this has to do with Alexis's experience that she has had throughout her journey. Would you like to reintroduce yourself, please?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Alexis Banda. Galdames. As I was reminded today that I still have I carry a last name. And I help out here at Jesse's Place.
You do way more than just help out. Stop.
I get shy. So I do. I'm the board of directors, and I am the media liaison. Sounds French.
She's been with us since the beginning. She is way more than just helping out. But I am excited to have this super personal conversation with you. And we will get started. Are you ready?
Ready as I can be.
Okay, if you at any point need a tissue or something, just let me know, okay?
Okay.
All right. So can you tell us a little about your relationship before incarceration?
Yes. So before incarceration, the incarceration system entered in my life. I was a regular girl partying, super lost, seeking validation from many men, friendships. I was just going through a lot, and I didn't even know that I was going through a lot. And I went deep into alcoholism and drugs and all that. So that's my story as the beginning I was an atheist. I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in anything. I believe in myself. And it caused a lot of destruction in my life, which led me to my story.
Thank you for being so open. Usually, I'm a little, I hold back a little bit because I'm not sure how far we can go. But thank you for your honesty. And, just to remind ourselves, to remind you and me that we all have a testimony. And we're all, sinners saved by grace.
Amen.
So thank you for your honesty. So how did you meet your current husband?
My current husband. You say it like I'm going to get married again. I'm good.
Stop.
After this. I'm just kidding. I don't know what God has in store, but for right now, healing. So how did we meet? My husband Lester and I met when we were 13, 15 in high school. We both went to Fairfax High, and we had a mutual friends. He was a skater boy, and I was just a girl that was overprotected by her mom, and mom would drop me off in the mornings and pick me up, and I was super isolated. And he was going through a lot too. He was going through his parents' divorce at the moment, at the age of 13. And I didn't know that he was hurting that much until now that, that we've gone through this process of healing through separation. And he's shared more, but at that moment, you're young, you don't understand, that there's things that are happening inside of you. You're 13, yes. You have the whole world ahead of you. Yes. But you don't know how to use the tools. So that's how we met in high school.
And I think that as being teenagers, when a lot of things do tend to happen to us, is the reason why sometimes we get ourselves in trouble. Because we're teenagers, we don't know how to express ourselves. We don't trust our parents. We don't want to say what's really wrong with us. But at the end of the day, it's really important that we realize that being a teenager, is also okay to make mistakes along the way.
Right.
At what point did you realize that your marriage was changing?
Well, we got to go back to the beginning. When Lester and I reconnected, we had 20 years passed in our lives before I reached out to him. And the reason why I had reached out to him was because I felt like I needed to say I'm sorry. And it all started there. But the I'm sorry was not even for him. It was for God. It was for myself. Mm-hmm. Because when we were kids, we were together for like 3 years and a half or something like that. Mm-hmm. Right before senior year. And I met a person that I was like infatuated with. And I broke things off with Lester. And it was like right at that cusp where he was about to just go into his crime. Mm-hmm. And things were going really bad with him. And now here I come with my nonsense. And I break it off. And the very next day, I started dating someone else. Like holding hands in bless you.
Excuse me.
God bless you, my sister.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
The very next day, I was holding hands with a different dude in high school, and it really hurt him, and I saw the hurt in his eyes then. But you're young; you're not gonna be like, okay, I'm sorry, like this happened. I'm in love now, so things started to unravel with our relationship because he was getting more into crimes and things like that, and I was I am 3 years older than him, so. That I was growing up and he was not, so we were kind of like this. Sure. So when we were drifting, so the drift happened, and so when I reconnected with him, I was like, hey, I have this in my heart. I just want to say I'm sorry. I want to apologize for how I treated you 20 plus years ago. Mm-hmm. I had just met Christ in 2018. So it took 3 years for me to really surrender to God. So in 2020 is when I reconnected with him through the prison. I looked for him and I found him and I wrote him letters. So I just wanted to do that. But obviously we ended up somewhere else because we got married. I was so infatuated with him after. I couldn't believe he was that educated. I'm going to be really honest with you. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought I've never really been exposed to prison culture, let's just put it like that. Mm-hmm. That when I started speaking to him, he sounded way better than the men out here. Wow. And it blew my mind, and I was like, how are you this smart? I remember telling him that, and he started laughing. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah. And then he shared with me his prison journey and everything he's done for himself while he's been incarcerated for 12, 13 years then. Yeah. So
that's huge, because we do hear a lot about people that are incarcerated, the way they do, a lot of them educate themselves, and that's something about I could share about my husband, that I never had someone talk to me so educated the way he did. Sweet. And still to this day he's still in college educating himself, and he's helped me grow a whole lot. I want to say that those types of things weren't taught to me as a kid, and I had to learn them now as an adult. And also pointing out that sometimes statistics do show that the women tend to grow up a lot faster than the men do. And so men sometimes do need a little longer to catch up. So you went from apologizing.
So back to your question. How did I notice a drift? We call this cafe for a reason. Let me drink my cafe. Okay, water. Right?
Don't get nervous.
So
we're good.
The drift happened right after we got married. It was like a light switch. It was the most bizarre thing that happened that till this day I cannot comprehend. I'm gonna be really honest with you, because one day he's writing to me, I literally would receive 3 to 4 letters a week, back to back to back every day, and I would go and I would be so excited to open my mailbox, and phone calls early in the morning, good morning, at nighttime and midday when I'm having lunch, and of course you hear that call and you're you see CDC, you're I pick it up fast. But after we got married, something switched inside of, I want to say both of us. It wasn't rainbows. Like, it was, we would say it today, right? It wasn't all rainbows. And I expected that. I really did. I thought, maybe it's because he's been incarcerated so long, like plus 15 years now. We got married in 2023. And I'm like, maybe he just can't show emotion while we are, going through this. Maybe once we go to family visit, it'll change. And it just got really quiet. It got really silent. And I kept asking myself, what happened? And what did I get myself into? It's almost as if like that inner like sensation of something's wrong, that your body's telling you, hey, something's not right, and I lost him. He was just checked out.
Yeah, that's really hard, and I am sorry that you had to go through that, because being with someone that's incarcerated and going through relationship problems is hard, because you can never call them back. You can't call them back, so you have to sit there and wait until you see that CDCR number come in.
Yeah.
And that's my next question. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced while your spouse was incarcerated?
Loneliness. Loneliness. You're with someone, right? You're now, by the state of California, by paper, I have a husband, but where's he? And I signed up myself for this. I willingly went up for this situation without getting to know one another. Immediately, as soon as we reconnected, like, we were saying I love yous, like, right away. It was like tornado fast. Yeah. And I didn't realize that I had no self-love. I needed someone else to love me. And he was the perfect person that did that for me at the time. And all the love bombing and all of that, like, love that he was pouring out to me through letters, because this is before free phone calls, by the way. And we would get, that one phone call a day, because it was during COVID.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like, this man, like, is never gonna do me wrong, because he loves me so, so much. And I couldn't get there for myself. So how could I expect him to be at that level when I couldn't even get there for me? So I disrespected myself by not allowing myself to seek marriage counseling first, to seek help and to see if this was a really right fit, not just going off of something from back then, like our nostalgia, which is what we really did.
And I want to emphasize that everybody's relationship is different in prison. We have all kinds of relationships. Just today we came, from a post-incarceration syndrome conference. And I'm so grateful that you, still help the community. That you still help the community and you're still involved. And I have to acknowledge that, but it's also really important to acknowledge that everybody has a different relationship. And this is unique because this is your story. Did you ever feel judged by others for staying?
All the time. I lost a lot of family. I lost a lot of friends. I stopped talking to my sister, who has never been on board with this decision of mine, all in the name of love, while she was pregnant with my niece. And I lost a year, I believe, in months of her having my niece, like newborn, because we literally couldn't stand each other. I couldn't stand that she felt like that. I just needed someone on my side. I just needed somebody on my side. And it was, my mom actually was one of the persons that was like there, which is very weird, because my mom is very cutthroat with everything. Aside from my friends, right, that I've made along the way, thank you, Jesus. But family members wise, like, everyone was just, what are you doing, Lex? Like, this is you need to reevaluate what's going on with you. And this is a life choice decision that's going to affect you. And by but I am where I'm supposed to be today, and so is he. I do want to disclose that.
Yeah.
Had I not gone through this whole situation with him, both of us wouldn't be where we are today, which is healing. Our like inner children, our inner child that has been traumatized through the things that life has caused and brought to us. So we are where we're supposed to be.
But that's the whole truth, because I could testify that when I first saw you going through this journey, you're not the same woman you were then than where you are today. And I see you a lot stronger today. And, you know, and always just know it's not comparing relationships. Never like that, because, you know, I know that everybody's unique, right? And, you know, one of the biggest things that you said is, you know, that isolation that happens when you have a loved one that's incarcerated because of feeling judged about if you say the wrong thing or if you're going through problems.
Yes.
You know, like in my case, I wouldn't share anything about anything to anyone. And it's not that we had problems, because we really didn't. It was always on the go, though. It was always, you know, the pressure to get there, the pressure to get to visiting, the pressure to get ready, the pressure to get the dollars, to get the coins. And, you know, our pressures were very, very different.
Amen.
Was there a defining moment that led you to decide to end the marriage?
Yes.
Okay. You're okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Well, we were at each other's throats for the most part right after we got married. It got really dark for both of us. And I would question him in things that were, it just didn't make sense, some of the things that he would request or want. Because those were discussions that were had before we got married, like children. And it got to the point where he was like, I can't proceed with this marriage anymore because I want kids. And I sat there. I'll never forget that first conversation, like right before we realized like this is the end for both of us. On August 18th, I went into Lancaster State Prison in I guess you can say in the last kind of like save the marriage type of visit. That's the last time I saw him in 2024. And I went in there wholeheartedly wanting to talk to him and say, hey, like, let's really get into the Bible. I really want to work in our marriage. Like, maybe we need counseling because we're not agreeing in anything anymore. Like, you are going that way again and I'm going this way. Well, I'm going this way. Please God. But, and we sat there in that visiting room and we didn't talk. I purchased the food. We sat down. We grabbed the Bibles that they had there, and we read, like, I could kid you not, maybe 3 minutes max of Deuteronomy. That's the book that we were in, and I wanted more. I wanted to dive deeper into the Word of God. I felt like if we just knew the Word of God and ran towards God as we used to from the beginning, he could fix what was going on inside of us, around us. And he sat there, read the Bible for like 3 minutes maybe, and then closed it and proceeded to eat. And I just was like, okay, are we gonna continue reading the Bible or what was going on? I'm like, visit's almost over. Like, I need this. We need this. It was like a come to Jesus type of meeting moment, yes. Right? And I left Lancaster that day in August. And that's the last time I saw him, bawling all the way home, just crying because I knew that it was done. I knew it. I was invited to a wedding from one of my church friends that Saturday. That Saturday, we were celebrating our monthly versaries. which is on the 14th. It was Saturday the 14th, and I was sitting there. It was September, now a month later, and I'm like, this is not working. This is not working. Mind you, I went to see him in August 18. I hadn't seen him all the way because I didn't know what to do with my emotions, and he wasn't calling me. He stopped calling me. Like, I think he would call me like once a day, like 8:30 p.m. At nighttime. And I was like, I would see all my friends, and they're like getting bombarded with calls from
me.
Yeah, and I'm like, what about me?
I'm sorry.
No, don't be, because it's, our human condition. It's just, what about me? I matter too. And I kept saying that to myself, like, God says that I matter, but why don't I feel like I do? Why do I feel like my husband is just no longer there? Like, he's gone, like, checked out. And we were getting ready for his graduation for the bachelor's degree in Lancaster, which was in December. So I was super excited for him. I was like, finally, like, the day has come. I get to be in there and see this great. Mind you, I didn't graduate from college. I just have like a technical certificate. That's a big deal. Like, I get to say my husband graduated from his bachelor's from Cal State LA. Yes, while incarcerated. I was so proud of him. And I swept it under the rug until that wedding and their vows. Something struck me, and it says unity. There's no unity in your marriage. There's that doesn't exist. And I was like, it's because he's incarcerated. And then I was like, I need to stop making excuses and realize what the reality is for both of us. He's not there. Not even, because I see Jesse, right? Like, when he was incarcerated, and Frank with Myra, like, y'all were like, it's like, yes, they were not here in this building, but you could feel their presence. I was like, oh, Jesse's calling. And like, you just knew that you guys were partners. Like, you guys were doing something. You guys were headed to our future. There was none of that for me. I didn't feel it, and neither did he. So we were just like, okay, so what are we doing now? And when then the day came where he said, I think it's time to go our separate ways, on the 19th of September. And that was it.
Oh my God, you reminded me of the Temptations, the 19th of September. Yeah, it's a oldie, but obviously you don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
But
that was it.
It's because I have to go back. Sorry. I have to go back and say this, that, and it's okay if people say I'm being repetitive, but that's why it's important that we don't compare our relationships to other relationships, right?
Right.
But yeah, Jesse would call us all the time. He would call us all the time, especially, but I'm saying this because of Zoe. He would call all the time, but people didn't know that when she was born, guess who he was talking to? He was talking to her. Me and him, we wouldn't communicate as much. We would talk, me and him, but the phone calls became about Zoe. And he would talk to her since she was little, a baby, and into a toddler, and have conversations with her, and that's how their relationship formed. But people didn't know, that I put myself to the side when we decided to, and it's not even that I decided to be a parent. It just happened. That's a whole nother podcast. But I know that one of the questions you partially addressed it. What emotions did you wrestle with before making the decision? But really, because of what you just said, it was that he made the decision, to tell you that it was a done deal on the 19th of September. And being someone, that has gone through a failed relationship, when you hear those words coming from the person that's supposed to love and protect you and be there for you, it's like an emotion, like grieving someone that's still alive.
Right.
And it's even more difficult because the person's incarcerated. And so how did you go from him telling you that he wanted it done on the 19th of September?
Well, the official, I was at work when it happened, on top of everything. I got it through CDCR's messaging.
You go He messaged you on the tab on the chat on
Yeah.
the. You got me stuttering on the tablet or a letter.
Through the tablet.
No.
I was in the middle of work, minding my own. No, like I was going through so much. Like, what's gonna happen? Is he okay? Am I okay? Are we okay? Are we gonna fix this? I had just gotten assaulted at a gas station. That Thursday, yeah, after midweek service for church at a gas station. And I messaged him. I said, hey, some guy came up to me and he basically wanted to get my number. I asked him, please back off. And he pushed me and I fell into the ground. I was able to, yeah. So I went through this like traumatizing moment. And you would think this Friday morning, I know, I get it. It was nighttime. I said, I'm going to give him the grace for him to give me a call. And mind you, right then, we haven't even said the word. We haven't spoken it out, given life to the ending of our marriage.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of in a weird situation. And
an iffy situation.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, I really didn't think we were going to go through it. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, this happened to me at a gas station. And, just letting you know I'm okay. Like, I landed on my wrist. And I, got up real quick. I got in my car. And I just started driving on the freeway. And the guy, followed me. But I was able to lose him. Yeah. Yeah, so I was like, in that moment, I'm like, I'm by myself when these, in life, general, right? Like, I can't tell my mom about this. She's going to get mad at me.
Yeah, what are you doing at the gas station at night?
Exactly. But that's just where I am. I need a gas. And, but he didn't call me in the morning. All he said was, did you place a police report? And how did that make you feel?
I'm sorry, you say he didn't call you
No.
after? Oh, my God. I'm not even going to comment.
No.
Go ahead.
So, I'm like, okay, so that didn't happen. So when Monday came around and he officially messaged me that, I was like, ya vali.
Yeah, that hurt.
Ya vali.
That's hurtful.
I'm done for. This is a wrap. And right away, as soon as he said that, I'm going to be really honest with you, I was like, and then I started crying at work. I ran to my supervisor's office and I said, I need 5 minutes because I need to talk to my pastor. Because something really hard just happened in my life and I need guidance. And that's something I would never do before. That's not a normal thing for me. I normally isolate. But I'm grateful for the people that were around me. Pastor Irene from Chapel of Change, she really, really sat there and was on the phone with me, and I'm just ugly crying outside of my building. And one of the things that I will never forget that I said to her was, you see, nobody wants me. Not even someone that's in prison wants me. I'm damaged. And I spoke that into existence, right? Because words mean things. And that's something that I've always carried as a kid, rejection, unwantedness, neglect, which are the things that I felt during the marriage. But I just wasn't vocalizing it. I wasn't able to tell any of my friends what was going on. Nobody found out until actually I didn't say anything, until I just took out the pictures of us together. that's I guess how people found out that we were going through it. But
well, for me, I honestly didn't know you were going through anything. Just one day I told you were just in my heart, and out of the blue I text you.
Yeah.
And it seems to be that I said she's going through something, and when God has called and placed people in your life, it's like you feel them, you grieve them, you love them, you care for them. And that was the situation in my case. I was like, what's going on with her?
Yeah.
And then you tend to isolate when things are not right, and I know that because I know you, and I know you by your pages. I'm like, where the heck is she at, and what is she going through? And to be honest, when you did share what you were going through, I was thrown back. I was hurt for you because I was like, well, where does she go from here? And I could see the hurt in your face, and I got to see it, and I want to say live it with you.
Yeah.
But it's a little difficult to say that because you're the one who is going through it. But someone that has that experience, I wanted to just console you, hug you, tell you it was going to be okay. but there's really nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Just grieve it.
Yeah.
And go through it.
The best thing actually that you said to me, mind you, because me and her weren't talking at this point.
That wasn't my fault, but go.
I fight with people, believe it or not, and I accidentally got...
You fight with people?
Yes.
No.
we had a little disconnection.
Oh, I'm sure nobody knows about that.
We had a little disconnection. Mind you, a whole year passed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A whole year passed. There was a miscommunication. There was an issue that happened.
It's not about us. It's about you. Go.
No, but that's important because
I'm kidding.
We had not spoken for a whole year.
Yeah.
Both of us were being prideful.
That's not true.
It's
but
true.
Go.
And out of the blues, I get this phone call from Sandra, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what's happening? Like, because we're not in speaking terms at this point. And you said, you've been in my heart, and whatever it is, you don't need to tell me. But whatever you need, I'm here to pray with you and to fast with you and to just be there for you, whatever it is. And I was just like, God always finds a way to tell on me. And that was the perfect thing that he did, because I really needed a friend then, because I wasn't telling anyone. It was just pastors
But
at
see,
church.
what a lot of people don't know is that when we met, you were coming out of your atheism. So you didn't believe in God. And even then, though, my husband said it sounds creepy, I was stalking you, because I needed help with Jesse's place, and it was getting busy. But at the end of the day, when God said something in my heart, and I'm scared of God. I don't know if people have fear of the Lord, but I fear him. But I love him at the same time. And so he kept placing me in your heart and placing me in your heart. And I was like, no, I don't want to talk to her. No.
Yeah.
And no. And but at the end, yeah, it was pride. It was pride also, because I was hurt too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the obedience to God is so much more important than what my feelings were and how I felt about it. So I told myself, how dare I not follow, the tugging of the Lord to seek you out, because the Bible clearly says, do not make one of my little ones stumble. And so I said, I'm not going to be the one to come and after you, or to say nothing bad to you, or I just simply let it be. But to know that you were going through something, even though I didn't know that you were going through something, it was really important to make sure that you knew that I didn't care at that point what had happened between us. What mattered to me was that you were okay. And again, I felt a sadness in my heart for you. A sadness, and I couldn't help it, and I was like, what's happening to her? And so yes, I swallowed my pride.
So did I.
And I think that's just the way that sometimes relationships work that way, is that things can fall off, and maybe it's not a right now in the relationship, maybe it's a later in the relationship. And so we both decided to leave things alone. How did you cope with the loneliness?
God. I ran to God that same day. See, the enemy has a funny way of getting through those open doors, those open crack windows. And that same day, I was asked if I wanted to go to a bar. I've been sober. I'm celebrating my sobriety this year. It's gonna be 6 years.
Wow, already?
Yeah. And so that, I'm sober. And my friend said, you know what? I think it's time for you to clock out early. I'll clock you out, and we'll go to the Candela, the nearest bar by us. I think you're ready to have a drink. I think this deserves a drink.
I think not.
And I was like, and I looked at my friend, and I'm like, no. I was like, I can't go there. I can't go there. I can't go there. Because I know what happens when I go there. This person, the one that God has built up so much in this couple of years, everything would have been lost in me. And I ran to church. That I said, actually, if you can please clock me out early, I do have somewhere to go. There's there on Wednesdays they used to meet for young adults, and I don't even know how I made it to young adults, to be honest with you, all the way to Paramount from Hollywood. And I sat there. I got there late on top of everything, and I just sat there like I looked like a momia, like I just was in shock of everything that had just happened. Because on top of everything, after he said that he wanted to go to get a divorce, go separate ways, he stopped talking to me. Like, I would send messages to him, and I'll be like, not rogándole porque uno no ruega. Okay. But
okay, Kelang, just a little bit, un poquito rogona.
Not even, no, girl. I was like, okay, send me the papers right away. Like, I wasn't playing about that either. Like, ¿te quieres ir? You want to leave? Okay, then there's the door. Send me the papers. But inside, I was like, I was crying. I was like, my God, like, how can this be happening? But I know that I deserve so much more because God said. And I ran to church. I ran to God. And I've been there at his feet this whole time. Like, my eyes are on Jesus, and you know, like it's allowed me to cope with my pain because it has been so painful. But this is the first time actually that I'm able to talk about it and not really cry.
That's okay.
And that's good. That's a good sign. That's healing.
It is healing, but it's important that you get it out. You know, it's important that we talk about it. Because sometimes we do tend to make those wrong decisions instead of, you know, exactly what you said. You were like, okay, we'll send the papers over instead of trying to work it out or talk it out. But it sounded like for him it was a done deal. And so you tried those avenues of reaching out to him and he was non-responsive. It seems like you tried to do what you could. And I know this one's going to be hard for you. And I already see your little eyes. But he also blocked you, correct?
Yeah.
And he also removed you, right?
Yeah.
Removed you from what?
Remember I said that I visited in August? Mm-hmm. Okay. His graduation was in December, the 12th or something. And I wasn't going to go and show up. Okay. I was like, no. But he didn't know that. So he removed me from his visiting list at Lancaster, and I got a very harsh letter from CDCR saying that I was removed from visiting. And I was like, at first, I'm gonna be honest, I thought to myself, maybe I did something while I was visiting him in August. Like, I wanted to believe that more than he made the decision, that he actively decided to remove me. That was hurtful. I was like, I showed it to my mom, and I was like, Mami, mira que me dijo. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I think I was too numb. I didn't even cry. I was just like stunned, I think. And then I messaged him. I sent him a picture, and I said, was this you? And sure enough, he said, yes, that was me. And I was like, at least you can lie a little, you know? Like,
I'm
ouch.
sorry.
Yeah, and so he did that. And then after that, like, he just wouldn't message me. And then the reason why he removed me was because he invited someone else to his...
I didn't think you were going to talk about that. Okay, now it's getting a little deeper.
She's just a friend.
Oh, God. Okay. All right.
She's just a friend. That's
let me take myself back for one. Let me regroup. Let myself regroup because you stunned me with that one. I didn't think you were going to talk about that. But this is your platform. So,
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. I had a couple calls from different women saying, hey, I'm here where I was there at the graduation for our husbands, and why were you not there but another person was? And I was, man, I can tell you this, till this day I haven't stopped being shocked with the stuff.
I'm shocked. Wait, so, you know, I mean, honestly, there's men that think that's okay. But I'm going to be honest with you. When you did tell me, I got to regroup. When you did turn around and tell me about that he removed you from the visiting list, I was shocked. I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know what I would have done. Sweet God, you know, like, look, I have no words. But then when you gave me that bombshell, because to us, wives, girlfriends, you know, potentials, to get removed from a visiting list, it's like the end of the world.
My heart was like this. It cracked. It cracked in two. Not in two, in a million pieces. It really did. I was like, it's illogical for me because man, like I was in love with him so much, and just to see this piece of paper saying,
I would have look. My husband knows I'm extra dramatic. For those of you that don't know, I try to behave myself, coming on here. But I don't know, if my husband would have removed me from his list, I would have showed up. I would have had to there's an emergency check on him or something, because it's like you don't expect that.
No.
Because no, what I'm saying is, like, you didn't expect it.
Yeah.
It broke your heart in two pieces.
But
right?
I did ask him, I said, hey,
Exactly.
what happened? Like,
Exactly.
And he said, because I didn't want any drama. Like, I invited my friend. She's a friend. And, we're not in good terms, so I don't want any drama. And I was like, okay, well, you weren't going to get any drama because it's not like I'm going to show up anyways. Like, what is your, ¿qué te pasa? Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, come on. Like, I now have a little more self-respect. Like I said, I gained.
A lot.
A lot more. Yeah, like, I wasn't going to do all that. Like, si se quiere ir, like I said, if he wants to leave.
You feel that now.
Girl, it's been 2 years almost.
Yes, you feel that now. No, but it's going to the next question. You feel that now. But did you lose a part of your identity during that season? What were your emotions like? How did you feel? I know that isolation was one of them because you shared that. So did you lose a part of your identity then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't a prison wife anymore. I lost the community because you and I weren't talking.
First of all, you lost the community. You didn't. You lost.
I felt lost because I'm like, okay. First of all, I'm angry, right? I'm angry at the man. I'm angry at the situation. I'm angry that I allowed this to happen, knowingly that I should have known better. But we get into things, thanks to our traumas. And I did, like, all of a sudden, you go deep into this prison culture, prison wife, prison girlfriend. I lost all that. I'm no longer that. What am I? So, like, it's so, now that I'm talking about it, actually, I didn't even realize it. But yeah, I lost that in the way. And now I'm like, well, who am I? And here comes the regroup. Here comes God saying, who are you? You're the daughter of the Most High. You are my apple of my eye. And he started to rebuild me from there. Because I was like the little lost puppy that got kicked to the curb. That's how I felt. I felt like I got kicked to the curb and I had nothing to go for. I was like, how am I going to tell my family after I fought everyone? How am I going to deal with this? I felt embarrassed. I felt so rejected. At my age, I'm like, really? Like, our marriage lasted 18 months. And I was like, I can't even do that right. That's how bad.
How you felt. Yeah. At that time, when you're going through it, and again, I'm talking about my past. At that time when you're going through it, you do feel like you, I mean, I don't know, maybe this word is too strong, right? But you do feel like you like, I lost myself back then. I was hella lost. I was like, I didn't know what to do, where to go. And, my situation, again, from my past, it has nothing to do with my husband now, was just as heavy, and because we said these are real raw conversations, my ex married someone while married to me, got that girl pregnant, moved her into my home, and I ended up actually where I'm at now, in an empty apartment, in an empty place. And along the way, Jesse and I, we were just friends. But it took, it's sort of like, how people say, oh, when he found me, he got the best thing in his life. No, it was actually the opposite. Because when we found each other, Jesse helped to rebuild me when I was lost. He did. He helped to tell me those beautiful things that you're talking about. But he didn't lead me to him. He led me to Christ. He led me to, you're a queen. You can do it. You're strong. You're courageous. There's nothing that you can do. And I was like, I didn't believe it, you know. But at the end of the day, he poured so much the word of God, the building, the strength, you can do anything that you want to do, that I started to believe it.
Amen.
That I started to believe exactly that. But at that time, I couldn't see it. At that time, I was like you. I was numb. I was hurt. I was lost. I was so confused. Felt rejected. But then along comes this incarcerated person that taught me different and still teaches me to this day.
Yeah.
You know, and there's not, because he has so much on his plate, there's days where I struggle with something and I'll go and I'll say and I'll talk to him, and then he reassures me, like he'll talk to me, but with the word of God. And healing looks like forgiving ourselves.
Yes.
Healing looks like forgiving the other person because they hurt you.
Correct.
Healing looks like, this is me. When someone does something to me, hurts me, talks about me, just like, you know, this community's pretty rough sometimes, I grab them and I'm like, I take them to the throne of God, because that's what he says.
Yeah.
You know, those are the things that the Lord says. And after your season, what is it that you did to begin your healing? What does your healing look like?
I forgave myself. I allowed God to really, really work. I started serving a lot because I felt so empty inside. I felt so without. I felt like I was worth nothing. And this is a validation of a man. Are you joking? But that's how you feel. Like, you feel like terrible. So I started serving more in my church, and I started giving my heart to helping other women in ministry. And I started traveling. I started really focusing on me, on the things that have hurt me, not just with the divorce or the marriage or the lack of, you know, having love, but it was more of a, what is it that I need to make me okay again, to make me the person I was, not when I was an atheist, not when I was, you know, going through the part. I had to cope in a different way. You're telling me I have to go through this without alcohol, without partying, without men, sober. Like, I was super promiscuous, to be honest, and before I got married, like, and having to come to terms to that, of like, my messages are so dry that Domino's just texts me, hey, we have free pizza, and I'm like, you know, and of course my friends now, but like, there was a time where I had no one in that season, because I was like, rah 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 for my husband, and all of a sudden my husband wasn't rah 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 for me, you know, and now I have to go through this whole like repair and feel, who is Alexis? So I started reading my books again. I read a lot, but in that time, while I was married, I wasn't, because I was helping him out with a lot of different things for his case, resentencing and commutation. So all of the fun books I used to read, I put them to the side. So I started leaning on women.
Refinding yourself.
Honestly, like, it was just, and you would think, like, when you're going through the divorce, you're like, oh no. I was lonelier when I was in the marriage than now that I've been separated, going through the divorce. Not since day one, God regrouped everything, and every day I get to help other women, but also other women also pour into me, and I don't feel alone. I feel happy. I feel, I mean, I'm sad. There's moments that I remember things, the good times, and I'm just like, but God's like, you're not there anymore. What are you doing? And I'm like, okay, God.
No, that's true. There's seasons. Sometimes there's seasons in our lives, exactly because of what you said, right? And I can relate to that. And I relate with you so much, because that's why the aftermath. Because when my husband was incarcerated, man, Jesse did this, this, Jesse did that.
Yeah.
Jesse has 35, 55 certificates, and I'm proud of him. His last accomplishment, he got his paralegal. You know, bravo, honey. He got his paralegal. But my whole shift, my whole focus, my whole identity was my husband. And is my husband still. Except that the difference is when he came home, it changed. Things changed. A lot of things changed. And I'm still his trust me, I'm still his biggest supporter. You know, everything that Jesse said he was going to do, he did. And some. And I watch him go and I watch him go. But then I got to where you're at and where you were. And I was like,
what about me?
What about me?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean it like so respectfully, like not, woe is me, what about me? No, I meant, what about me? What does Sandra want to do? And that's why I would tell you, what does Alexis want to do? And one of the biggest things that I believe, and I could be wrong because I'm not a theologian or theologist, scholar, however you call it, but God gets us to a place in our life where he doesn't want us to depend on no one.
Amen.
But him. Because he's the source. Because he's the one who gives the blessings. Because he's the one who encourages us and supports us, who loves us like nobody's gonna love us. So through that season of, come on, my husband 3 weeks out had got a job. At 3 weeks he was, you know, we had all these goals and aspirations, and he was going to cook for me because I wanted him to have a break from prison. And you know what? The opportunity came. He left. He went to work. He started school, started prisons, and he's still going. But at the end of the day, it's like we have to know who we are and our identities and what do we love to do, what do we need to do. And so for me, it was the aftermath.
Yeah.
It was the aftermath of, what the heck, you have a story to tell. Dora's next. Hello, Dora is next. You know, her husband was incarcerated for 42 years. So Dora's story has to do about post-incarceration, and she has the whole story to tell. But this isn't just about women. It's not just about, because it's not. I'm going to have men on here too, because we need to hear from men that are going through it and what it is that we can really do to help. Because now there's stuff that I see that I did wrong. You know, now there's stuff that I see at the beginning of our first year that I did wrong. And that's because I was grieving like you were my little friend. I was like, my husband's not calling me 20 times in one day.
Yeah, that I can imagine. It's such a culture shock, right? Because you go from like getting so many phone calls and then it's silence.
I was like, that's why I tell everybody, you know, this is just my story, you know. He would call me nonstop.
He would. I was there and I witnessed it.
And
my phone was dry while it was okay with mine, and I was like, what's happening?
We sound bitter, friend.
I know. Why am I feeling like that now?
You know what? That's okay. All of us will drop your number in the chat and we'll all call you. And
no, I'm fine now. I'm okay.
We will all blow up your phone, little friend.
No, actually, please do not.
First of all, I saw your phone today. Okay, it was a disaster. We were in a media post incarceration, and her phone was off the hook, off the chain.
Like I said, God said, you ain't gonna be alone, honey. It put me a lot of people.
I know,
but and I'm grateful.
At the end of the day, this is why we share our stories, for those that their husbands are going to come home.
Yeah.
And this is just, you know, conversations dropped in your ears so you can know some of the stuff that we went through. And yeah, Crystal, you're absolutely right. You know, marriage counseling.
Advocate for that, by the way.
I'm not an advocate for marriage counseling, and I don't say I'm not an advocate for it, but yeah, it is a good idea. it is a good idea to have marriage counseling. If you have children, make sure that your husband, your better half, gets into some sort of parenting, for your children, because it is a culture shock for those that are coming home that were incarcerated such a long time, and then they come home to a child. Like in our case, my husband came home to a 4-year-old when he was incarcerated almost 15 years, and my daughter thinks she's the boss of her dad. But at the end of the day, she loves him and he loves her. But were there moments when you questioned God?
Yes.
Oh,
of course.
What did you say?
I'm only human.
I'm just saying. What did you say?
I had some very, very dark thoughts, to be honest with you. It's easier to stay. I'm gonna be really honest, because we're still going through the process. He has changed his mind and doesn't want to get a divorce because of God, because we're both Christians. But
what did you say?
We're both Christians.
No, the other part before that.
That he wants to stay married.
Oh, I'm sure we'll have a lot of comments after that.
He wants to stay married, but
and what do
how?
you
feel? I feel really conflicted. Mm-hmm. And if you asked me this question when we were on our way to Avenel 2 months ago. Avenel, and I go there. 2 months ago, you asked me the same question. I was angry, right? And I said, no way. I was like, no. But now, I found a way to forgive him, and forgive myself, and understand that there's things that are at play, right? And I don't know exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
I'm gonna tell you this. Listen, people are gonna get to know my character so much on these things, but no one could ever tell you stay or go. No one could ever tell you yes, get a divorce, not get a divorce. I cannot do that. But abuse is not okay. That I will tell you. Abuse is not okay, but at the end of the day, it's your decision.
It's easier to stay. It's easier to stay.
Listen, girl, 100%. It's easier to stay, because then it's like starting all over again. Look, you got me clapping over. I'm sorry. So it's easier to stay.
That's what friends are for.
Because at the end of the day, you don't have to grieve anything.
Correct.
You don't have to grieve anything. There's nothing to grieve. You just simply start all over again with the romance. You start all over again with I love you, baby. Oh my God, your voice, and what are you doing today?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I told you, and I'm gonna say this out loud. You have to see it for what it is, and what I mean by that is what's going to change. What's going to change? And so meanwhile, and Crystal, I did see your comment that you have a family visit baby too. Congratulations. For me, that wasn't easy being a single parent out here, because I don't have family out here in California. So I was alone. If I would have known her, it probably would have been a lot easier. But at that time, I didn't know her or Myra. But at the end of the day, it's your decision.
Yeah, I know.
I'm here to support you.
I know. Family. It's easier to stay, but I can't. I as much as he's been saying how much change he's done, and that kids all of a sudden are not a big deal, when that was really what he was hurt about. Now he doesn't want kids because whatever reason he has, and he's gotten deeper in the Word of God, and he's getting baptized. Thank you, God. It's all the things, like he's saying all the things that I wish was what would have happened when we were together. The open communication. And now I'm just like, I can't. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not there anymore. But mind you, I have deep love for him. I married the man, right?
Of course.
And I'm always gonna be on his court, and helping him if whatever he needs something, I'm always gonna be there for him. Of course, everything with boundaries. I'm learning. I'm learning, but you're right. Like I'm not that person anymore, and I've done a lot of work in my healing, and I'm still going through it. Like I'm still there's good days and there's bad days. There's days that I have really dark thoughts. Suicidal thoughts, and be really honest with you, that happened to me in the beginning when I just didn't think I was worth it, and I wanted to end things. But God, is a merciful God, and and even now saying that out loud, it hurts my heart that I would grieve God like that I would want to feel like that. And for that reason, I can never go back. So we are still proceeding with the divorce, even though he doesn't want to. But it's our separate journeys with God, and if this is something that's gonna get him closer to God, through this lived experience for both of us, I'm forever gonna be grateful, and I will be always cheering him on, and I want him to achieve everything he has set for himself. He checked out, he said, because he wanted to be so engulfed in his education. He really thought that going through education was going to get him to be released. His bachelor's, all these accolades. But it left him emptier. It left to destruction because he was focusing on men and not God. And that's where we went wrong. I mean, even me, because obviously, like, I was a young Christian too then, like a couple years ago. And I myself don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I'm just doing the best with what I got. Right, and no one gives you instructions how to be married, let alone married to someone that's incarcerated. Like, I would have been okay with everything. Oh, I don't see my husband. It's okay. Like, I'm such a chill person to begin with that it really didn't matter. Like, I was okay just going every weekend. On a Saturday, on a Friday, I was there every weekend.
Every weekend, yes, ma'am.
Every weekend, and I was just excited to see him. I couldn't get enough of him, but enough is enough. When someone says that they don't want you, believe them.
Yeah, I've learned that. I'm still learning that, because let me just touch on this because it's a very touchy subject. When people do get negative thoughts, like your thought at that time of suicide, and part of my testimony is my first suicide attempt was when I was 8. And through 8 all the way to 32, I had multiple suicide attempts and countless suicide attempts. And because I'm the black sheep of my family, and my family doesn't talk to me. But I'm not the same person I was back then. But at the end of the day, they don't know that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not given that opportunity to show that I'm not the same person. But my escape was suicide.
Yeah.
My escape was always suicide until one day, and I tell this and I laugh because I woke up on my last suicide attempt with a light blue rosary and a priest praying over me, and they thought I was going to pass. And when I opened my eyes and I saw him, I was like, I'm here. I'm still here.
Yeah.
But the pain and the heartache that I had gone through as a child all the way to the age of 32, because my dad was an alcoholic and a drug addict.
Correct.
And so I married, my ex was a drug addict and an alcoholic. And I'm, I want to say, that, and it doesn't sound proper, I'm a Christian, but I sound one of them gangster Christians. I sound, but people don't know that. Like, I'll do my best to be there for everybody and to be there for you. But I'm that type of person where, like, don't play with me, pray with me, And along the way, my husband, Jesse, is the one who taught me the love of God. And I'll forever be grateful for that. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I have to share with you, is that I'm glad that you didn't. And those deep, dark thoughts are not of God, and they're not okay. And how people say cast them down? Well, what the hell, how the hell you cast those things down, right?
Yeah. And,
and for me, those who know me know I play my worship music 24/7.
Yeah.
And, Eileen got to ride with us, right?
Yeah.
And we had a full-on concert in the car.
Worship. We were worshiping.
We were worshiping, and then here and there we would want to be over here, play some other kind of. She would want to be over here playing some 90s music, right? But at the end of the day, my whole point is that through praise, through worship, through reading my word, is what's helped me to stay connected to the source. But if it wasn't because God placed someone like my husband to teach me and tell me, hey, God forgave you. Hey, God died on the cross for you. He shed his blood for you. You're forgiven. Just the other day, I had a thought that I was talking to God. I wasn't talking to my husband. I talked to nobody, girl. I talked to nobody. But it was a thought that I had from the past. You tell me, how is it that some man that I don't know, a man that I don't even know, one of his brothers from a different church that's never met me, talked to my husband about, it was a word of God. And anyway, so my husband, when he goes, I need to talk to you, or however he said it, and he starts giving me the word that this other brother gave him, but my husband's all like, I believe it's for you. I kid you not. I looked at him and my eyes were so red and watery.
Really?
I was like, how'd you do that, God? I was like, how'd you do that?
Well, that's how he works.
But
through
see,
people.
I say all that to say, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
No, I got emotional. I'm very proud of you, because if you would have went forward with those thoughts, I would have missed you. I would have been hella mad at you. But the person that you were then is so not the person that you are today. And I shared that. I was like, the timid Alexis that I knew is not the same strong, I won't say the other word because my daughter's there, but the same strong woman that you are today. I was like, who the hell is this? And today's a good example. I was like, I took my purse up to the stage and she was like, I can't believe you took your purse up there. And so I was like, she keeps me in check. Like, dang, that's not the same person I knew then, But just know, anytime, if those thoughts ever come, girl, you call me. Drive yourself over here. We'll take it, eat tacos, because we know that's your favorite.
That's not today.
Rude. Get off of me.
Today we have pizza.
And you straight snitched on here to my husband. Wow.
Well.
Okay.
Gotta tell the truth.
If you could speak to the version of yourself who was struggling, what would you say in less than 1 minute?
Can you repeat the question?
If you could speak to the version of you who was struggling. Okay, let's say there's another woman that's going through what you're going through. What would you say to her?
Listen to your gut. Your body never lies. Your body never lies. There's that little sensation that you get here when you know something's
right. Ooh, and run with it.
And you.
Well, sometimes it's lies. I gotta tell you, because I be doing some stuff to Jesse that's not even cool.
Gotta listen to that gut feeling. It'll save your life. It'll save you from so much. That little gut feeling is that Holy Spirit tugging at you. Something isn't right. That behavior is not okay. Boundaries. Get yourself first. Get to know the person. My timeline now to get to know someone in the future, let's just say it's 5 years. And it comes along with a whole background of therapy. How have you coped? It really gets to that now.
Okay, see, now you're going to my next question without me even asking it. What lessons do you hope others learn from your story? In less than 1 minute.
Talk to your spiritual advisors and your friends about things that you're planning on with when you don't really know a person. I thought I knew him. He thought he knew me. He knew the old Alexis. He didn't know this Alexis, and that's how we clashed. And we didn't get what is it called, premarital counseling? What is that? I wish I would have done that. I wish I wouldn't have gotten married 1 year, like immediately right after. If CDCR hadn't made it so hard, by the way, we would have probably gotten married way before. Oh yeah.
Listen, that's kind of like, this is, nobody in my family tells me not one cent about my husband. I don't play about my husband. I'll tell you that much. Not one. Not my family, not my friends. Their opinions don't matter. Don't talk to me about him. He's just perfect, even though he's not perfect, but he's just perfect. Okay. So no one tells me anything about him, right?
Yeah.
And why did I tell you that?
I don't know.
Triggered me.
Well, be kind to yourself.
Oh yeah.
Be kind to yourself by acknowledging that you gotta look out for yourself and ensure that you're 100% with the decisions that you're making for a lifelong decision. Getting married is a big commitment. It's a big deal. Get to know the person 100%, and it's even hard. It's actually slower to get to know a person that's incarcerated, by the way, because you don't get to live with them. You don't get to really go on dates. You don't get to see really what's in there. Yes, so it actually is at a slower pace. 5 years later, maybe if we hadn't gotten married, now actually we've been reconnected for 6 years. Honestly, maybe I wouldn't have done it. Maybe I would have said not right now. But we were so busy, like, just being in love and just thinking, oh, it's not gonna fail on us. He loves me too much. I love him too much. Love conquers all, and it does in a different setting. Get to know them and yourself.
Again, saying respectfully, everybody's journey is different, because, and I always have to flashback it, because in August, it'll be 10 years that I've been married to my husband, my beautiful, gorgeous husband. I'm feeling all lovely today.
Right?
So, it'll be 10 years that I've been married to him, but when he came home, it was a rude awakening for the both of us,
Yeah.
Because we were alone for such a long time. And so I think it is hard to get to know someone incarcerated at that point if you don't know them.
Correct.
And it's simply hard to know them because they're already there. We travel over there. And so that's something I share with everyone anytime I get an opportunity to talk about post-incarceration. And
sí, queremos tacos.
No, Jessie. But at the end of the day, it's like we get to drive over there, right? My husband's the one who helped me to see this and understand this a little bit more. We would drive there. He, would get ready for us, and he would look finer than wine, smell better than a cookie farm or however you want to call it. But he was always ready for us. He was always ready for us. But what he made me realize is he was in the prison, in the institution, whatever. He goes, it would take 5 to 10 minutes to walk to where we're at. It would take 5 to 10 minutes to walk to eat. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to walk to the library. It takes 5 to 10. Unless you're going to court or you're going somewhere else, he said everything is local. So when he came home, girl, I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't have it like that. Thanks to the people at Jesse's Place organization, thanks to the Place for Grace and to Porsche, that when my husband came home, everybody in our organization helped to make his homecoming because I wasn't prepared. And that's something that why I share that is that everybody's journey is different. But when he came home, that was our getting to know each other.
Oh, yeah.
And we're still getting to know each other, let me tell you, because he's a workaholic. Yes, we drive countless of miles, countless of hours, countless of dollars.
Let's not talk about family visits.
She wanted to talk about family visits, but I was like, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute, girl. I said, because
they're not it.
I said, wait, it wasn't it for you. Stop. Get off my shoulder. So I said, I wasn't. Ooh, Zoe, take that lipstick off before Dad sees you. So she wants to talk about family visits, right? But we'll touch on that briefly, and then we're jumping onto this because my husband's watching.
Okay.
So I said, I was kidding, right? We were driving, and then I said, hey, I'm going to ask about your family visits. But I was just kidding. And she said, touch on it. Go ahead. Touch on it.
Now I'm shy. I'm just kidding. Okay.
And no, Zoe's not listening, so make it fast.
Okay. I don't know how to cook.
Oh my God.
I don't know how to cook. And that's a true known fact. My mom kicks me out of the kitchen. So when our first family visit, I told this man, I'm only going to feed you chips and soda. And he's like, okay, remember, love conquers all.
Oh,
so he was like, yeah, he was on board. Of course I wasn't. So I ordered all the frozen food. Girl, we burned everything. Yeah, it was not it. I honestly, having to cook everything, like technically from scratch, having to chop everything without having actual knives. Are you joking? Like, you know that
safety,
little...
ma'am, please don't turn into one of them.
No.
Safety measures.
I mean,
please don't turn into one of them. Like, we need not. No, you can't have a knife.
Okay, but like,
family
I don't
visit.
even know how to like cut things properly. Generally speaking, with a real knife. Let's talk about like the little spork that they get. We could bring in.
You know, I could honestly say that I wish, ladies, listen to what I'm telling you. Enjoy your family visits. And we're not talking about this lady, but I'm talking about this lady.
It was hard.
Enjoy your family visits. You know why? Because I wish I had a family visit. You know why? Because there was no interruptions. You get to shut the world out. You get to turn off the phones. And our family visits were thebomb.com. My husband...
That's nice.
Okay, I'm sorry, but anywho, my husband knows how to cook. He knew how to cook shrimp the way they make it in San Pedro. And I'm not lying. And no, he didn't give me spread because I don't eat spreads. But at the end of the day, the gratitude, honey, if you're watching, for our family visits, geez, the disconnect of the world was worth it to us. Okay, but Mimi, I'm sorry. It's okay.
No, I needed help. I didn't know what to do, honestly, like half of the time. Man, like every family visit that we would get was every other month at Lancaster. And man, like aside from like having to choose like food wise, you know, what are we gonna make? It was a whole thing. I remember like a pre-preparation for it. And I was like, I don't know, spaghetti? Can we even make spaghetti? Like, he's like, no, no.
What do you mean?
I like real spaghetti, not like the stuff that we can get only. I know I'm being a brat. But so what we did, we figured it out. We would do ceviche, shrimp ceviche all the time. He got so bored of it. I didn't.
We never tried that.
It was so good. And it was awesome because he would actually help me chopping up all the vegetables, because I would literally like sit there and I'll be like, I don't know how to do this, and I'll try my best, and they would come out like huge pieces. And then we'll order Doritos, and man, those were good meals. But other than that, like, man, like we weren't really connecting in family visit. Like, it was quiet for us. It was too quiet. And yeah, like it was hard. It was really, and I would see friends from church that would go to family visit, and they'll come back and they'll be like you, my honey, this, and then, and I'll be like,
hater.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, why don't I feel like that? Like, I feel mortified. Like, every time I would get that call, I'll be like hyperventilation mode, because we weren't in sync. We weren't. And it was so sad. Like, every time, like, it was time to go, I was packed and loaded, ready to run out. And
not me. I would cry. But listen, our journeys are different,
yes,
right?
Yeah, because we weren't connecting. That's why. You connected. That's good.
Well, God, I believe, I mean, I can't even say that. I just believe that, I want to say God connected us, but for me to say that, it's like, it's not like that God didn't connect you. So
it's a different thing, Sandra, what you have in your mind.
Huh?
It's a different thing with what I had in my mind. How I thought it was going to go down.
That's, I mean, honestly, I could say, because you're such a romantic romantic. How would you say that one?
That's right.
Romanticist.
I'm a romantic person. Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah.
It's not like it's because you said it, not me, but like our family visits. I'm sorry you felt like that. You should have said something back then. I wouldn't have shared.
I didn't know. I was embarrassed.
It's not. Why would you be embarrassed? It's like when I could genuinely say you're a friend. You're my friend. And if ever, I want you to know this publicly and in private. If ever you feel that you need to talk about something, feel free to call me, message me. I'm here. You got my number, because at the end of the day, what you went through, what you're going through, what happened to you is maybe happens to other women and they don't want to talk about it. And that's the whole reason why this one to me was very personal. And I know we've gone on and on, but we're getting to the closing. I always say don't put expectations on your first family visit. Just go with the flow and let whatever happens happen. I mean, in my case, girl, we were crashing into walls after the family visit.
What do you mean?
girl.
We want details.
This is not that kind of page. This is not that kind of page. But
expectations are big, yes.
What I mean by that is that I'm gonna put it in this sentence, and you're gonna answer my last 3 questions. What I meant by that is that an incarcerated person saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is my Savior, and those that know me know I'm a Jesus. I love my Jesus. But an incarcerated person saved my life. And it's the first time I say this out loud to anyone. And some people think that I saved him, but no. I mean, I'm the tornado in his life. I'm a tornado. There's days where I'm just quiet, but there's other days that I'm a complete tornado. But he saved my life. So after our first family visit, and I won't get into details because he's very private, but what I mean is that all the love that he had poured out on the phone calls, the letters, the pictures.
You felt it?
Man, no, it's like, I couldn't believe that God had gave me this wonderful, gorgeous man. Because I was like, why do I deserve this? I would tell myself, why do I deserve it? What does it say? I say don't get involved in what? In talking to anyone whose husband is still incarcerated, because honestly, have this woman go back and tell their man who gave the advice. I'm sorry, unless you're very close to the female. Yeah, a lot of the times, I never shared about my own personal business with anyone, but that's just because I'm just like that. Like, my circle, I don't even have a circle, I have a speck. And even to this day, like, there's only really honestly like 3 females I really could say I talk to. This is one of them. The other one is, she's on there, and I'll recognize not everyone moves like that. Yeah, and not everybody shares, their journeys, their family visits, this and that. But at the end of the day, Alexis wanted to tell her story.
It was funny. We will
tell her.
Because it was funny because of the cooking situation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, thank God Jessie cooked. Last thing I'll say is not pretended, but I know how to cook rice. But tell me why I burnt the rice twice over there, and he was looking at me like, don't cook any more rice anymore.
I think I burnt the salmon a couple of times, and I was
salmon.
Yes. That was the easiest thing that I could cook out here.
Yeah, I burnt the rice. I was petrified the alarm was going to go off, so we were like right there.
I know, me too. We would bring all the pots outside to when they were like...
What would you say to someone who feels trapped in a marriage because their spouse is incarcerated? And be careful with your response.
One more time.
What would you say to someone who feels trapped in a marriage because their spouse is incarcerated?
Listen, we love Big. I love Big. I love Lester so much, and I want to say so did he. We have our own
Sorry,
experiences.
because Yara says she burnt beans on her first family visit.
But if you're feeling that something's off, there's always someone to talk to, like Sandra says, right? Don't take everything just for yourself and isolate. You know, doing things for someone else, and when it doesn't go well, shouldn't be a tit for tat type of situation. Oh, I did that for him and I did that. Do I regret everything? No. I did it with all of my heart. All the assistance, everything, the visits, the calls. Even now we chit chat, because there's no bad blood between us. You know, I know that we both still have a lot to heal from, and grow from, and maybe, you know, at the end of the day, if you're feeling some kind of way, talk to someone. Seek therapy, seek counseling for yourself. That's one of the biggest factors that allowed me to kind of like click, like something's off, right? Because we're so easily, as human beings, we get angry so fast. And I know I got so heated, but I also have to understand that he's also been incarcerated for past 16 years. And
as a youth, right?
As a youth, yeah. He went in when he was 18. What did I expect? Like,
No,
you know what I
don't
mean?
feel that way.
No, like he's going through his own personal life change, because while you're incarcerated, we know this, time moves slower for them. For someone that's incarcerated, healing moves slower too. And there's things that people run from because they don't want to deal with it. And that is something that we also have to take into account and understand that, you know, like there's levels to trauma, there's levels to all these things, but never, don't stop seeking assistance, help. If you're feeling like there's something off, talk to someone. Let someone know, let someone spiritually guide you, or you know, counseling. Hey, I'm going through this, we're going through this, and let that be the factor that helps you both out. In our situation, it wasn't, you know, a happy ending, unfortunately, but you know, there's still a future for him. I can't wait for him to be released and see everything that God has for him. And I know that he's also on my court. It didn't work out for us, and you know, but I wish him all the best.
Last question is, what gives you hope for the future?
Hope for the future. Man, getting to know myself all over again in this sobriety and in love, allowing people to love on me, is what gives me the hope. I honestly, I don't think I could ever thank all the people like yourself, my friends, my church, family, that, you know, that have been there, that have seen the growth, and I'm still growing. I'm, you know, every day I struggle because I'm human, but
Don't we all?
yeah, you know, but what really matters is the fact that, you know, if you are the same as you were last year, there's a problem there, because at the end of the day, we're here to live this beautiful life, the ups, the downs, all the things that happen to us and our experiences, and this is how we get to help one another, to be there for one another. Not everything will go our way, and not everything, you know, people are gonna hurt us, but that's not a factor for others, for us to behave like that too. It's a factor to go above and beyond and be like, okay, I'm gonna step back, but also understand that there's you know, broken people in this world.
There is. And any last words?
I just want to say thank you guys, you know, for following the journey of Jesse's Place. You know, thanks to you, I was able to and she's one of the ones that was in the beginning when I was coming out of atheism, who pushed me into prayer ministry. And this was in 2020. She's like, do you want to help us, you know, with our prayer ministry? And through that, seek community, guys. Like, it's the number one thing that will get you in this type of community that's so closed. You know, find yourself a good friend, someone that you can have a cafecito, a panecito, and be like, hey, you know, like, this is what I'm going through, and this is my lived experience. Allow yourself to not self-isolate and do everything on your own power. And God really, really, really sends you those helpers.
Thank you for sharing your journey. I want to acknowledge a message that was on here from, it says La Reina Sanchez. I know who this is, but I won't say her name, a real name out loud. I mean, that is her name too. She says, Sandra from day one has been very private, always willing to help, and the advice she gave will always be very helpful. And she was she is and was one of those women that has been with us since the beginning, and we shared the same visiting room. So to see you here on our aftermath, you have a story to tell. So if you're up, she's got a story to tell too. Whenever you're ready, you're more than welcome to come and share your story on the aftermath. I want to thank you for being real raw in this conversation. I appreciate you very much, but the biggest thank you that we can give you at Jesse's Place and the aftermath is that you continue to go into the same community to help the families and the incarcerated behind the walls. And I can never be grateful, to you for continuing to be on this journey with us. And I want to thank you for everything that you do, everything you've been through. It's not easy, but I know it wasn't easy, or maybe it was,
no,
to share everything that you have shared. But always know that we're here to support you, me and my family, and we love you, and we care about you. And I don't throw love out there just like that. But we love you too, Angel. So like that, she don't be telling me that we don't. But just really quick, because come here real quick. My daughter wants to say it, and her dad doesn't like her being on live. Tell them really quick.
Hello.
She wants you to like and subscribe our YouTube channel, The Aftermath Justice, Sandra Suares. Thank you.
And get her merch.
And
Bye.
She's creating me merch, but we don't have that yet anyways. But thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.